Welcome back to the Creative Nonsense Podcast. This is episode 9. There will be 10 episodes this season. We're almost to the season finale. I'll be going on a short break for part of this fall semester so I can work on other projects. But today I'll be talking with Edgar about his music and creativity.
So, it is lovely to be doing this.
Yes. I think you're the first guest that I've actually had that I've met before we recorded this, which is funny.
Really?
Yeah, I think everyone else, it was from the Discord and stuff, and then we recorded, and I was like, this is the first time I've seen you in moving and not an image, and I met you IRL first, and then on Discord, and now you're here.
Well, I'm real. I guess you could say that.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Edgar, and I am a musician. I'm a musician. Singer, songwriter. I play piano, bass, guitar. That's fun to me. That's what I like to do. So, yeah.
What kind of things do you draw inspiration from? For when you're either making music or how you decide to just execute it generally?
So, are you asking about specific artist influences or just all around? Mm-hmm. All right. So, what tends to happen is so do you know about synesthesia?
Yes.
That's me. I perceive color when I hear certain things. When I focus on music, I tend to see a little ball of light go around. So, I kind of like to think of a color and then I try to execute it using music. And yeah, that's my process pretty much for the most part. I just try to make a certain painting, per se, with sounds. As for artists that influence me, my favorite all time, it's the Beatles, my best favorite band. Yeah, the Beatles really paved the way for psychedelic music, and that's a big thing for me. As well as really just taking rock and roll and pushing it forward into the pop scene. I mean, Elvis did that, but they did it more. So yeah, I just love them for everything they did, and I really take their rock and roll sound from it, as well as trying to push pop sense into everything I do. Tame Impala is another big one, just because of how Kevin Parker really just made psychedelic mainstream. And another one is The Weeknd. I mean, the way that he's gotten so big in the R&B and hip hop genre without really being as vulgar as others. I mean, he has said some stuff, but
you say as vulgar, and I'm hearing often in my head, and I'm like,
for me, that's or not, but yeah. I really love The Weeknd's voice, and the voice is the biggest part for me in any sort of music. And Kevin Parker, The Weeknd, and all 4 of the Beatles, they really had great voices. They knew how to execute their notes, how to say things with me understanding things, because I actually have a problem with understanding a lot of the time. Audio is just not a thing for me, despite being a musician. So yeah, a lot of influences from those 3 specifically.
Interesting. When you brought up synesthesia and trying to go towards a certain color, I write like that a lot of the time. I'll be I really want this to be green, or this feels very green, is what I have a batch of words that I have, and I keep trying to write it, and I'm now it's starting to look kind of purple now. I don't really like it like this, and then I'm and then I keep going back until it's the right feeling that I have for it. But yeah, it's always hard to explain that to people who don't see it like that. And I talk to my mom, and I'm oh, what colors is your 7? What do you see that as? And my mom's I don't think I have a color for that. And I'm why?
I think it's really, it's more of a way to, I guess it's a palette thing. You really have to have this sort of way of understanding everything, and just making it so simple to the fact that you make it a color. Colors really translate to emotion too, so in a sense we are just making it a basic thing without doing so. But You get what I'm saying,
Yeah.
because you do the same thing.
I mean, I don't know how not to. Like, one thing that's, like, and because I have such, like, associative things with, like, everything. Because, like, the color that comes to my mind right now is, like, pink, and pink is 5, and it's, like, these little, like, V hearts that my friend Kirsten used to draw in, like, 5th grade, and, like, it just, like, it falls down, like, the rabbit hole of other things that are, like, pink and, like, my memories, and, like, things that I associate like that, and, like, that's how everything is. So it's like, if I think of green, then I think of, like, this person and these things, and I think of those things, and that's just how I make any kind of story, or if I am making any kind of music, because I love The Weeknd too. So one time I was just, like, messing around with GarageBand, and I was making beats, and I was like, this sounds a little too Drake, and let's go a little bit more over here. And then it was like, it started to get purple, because I see Drake as kind of like a blue, and The Weeknd is very much like a lilac color, and so I was, like, trying to, like, write more over here, and I was like, this is a purple. This is a purple song.
That's interesting. I see Drake more as, like, a brown, funny enough.
Interesting.
And yeah, The Weeknd is, like, a really, like light purple to me, but Drake is more of a brown. Yeah. Huh. And funny enough, Tame Impala, do you listen to them?
Yes.
Well, him? Yeah, well, yeah, either way. Yeah, like, he's more like a pink green.
I don't know what I see them as. I'd have to, like, hear something and then be like, ah, yes, that's the color. Right now I'm thinking, like, orange, but I'm not entirely sure.
I wonder how others see it. There should be a poll.
I know, I find that really interesting, because synesthesia, it's just the commonality that people will see things as, like, colors, or, like, associate them like that, but there's, like, barely ever any overlap. Like, everyone has their own weird associations, which fascinates me.
We should look into that.
Yes. There's another thing, too, that's, can you, like, visualize things in your head? Like, if you had, so theoretically, I can see this room in my head, and, like, the way that the furniture is arranged in it, and I can rearrange it into, like, different ways in my head, and be like, oh, I could move stuff around like that, but I don't like that, so maybe I'll move this thing over there, and I can, like, re-visualize that. Some people can't do that, which, like, fascinates me. Some people can't visualize things like that in their head.
So, when you say that, do you specifically, like, I'm gonna use, like, gaming terms here, but, like, do you, like, look at it top to bottom, or, like, third person? Top down, I mean.
In my mind right now, I can do it either way. I could do it, like, walking around, and I could, like, physically move around in the space and, like, do the things to it, or I could see it from, like, looking down into it and, like, moving it around, like, what's that game? Animal Crossing? I can see it, like, a little Animal Crossing house, or I could see it, like, first person, be like, dude.
Yeah, I see it third person, so I totally get what you mean. Yeah,
but there are some people who can't visualize things like that, which I only found out about recently. Is like, they just can't, like, that kind of, like, spatial thing in their heads. They can't do it unless it's, like, they're actually moving around stuff.
Isn't that how, like, dyslexia works, but with, like, not being able to hear the voice in your head?
Whoa, I didn't know that.
I could be wrong. I'm almost positive I'm wrong now. But,
I like that would be interesting, like, though. These are things that, like, I need to look up.
Yeah, but I apparently, like, when you're dyslexic, it's because there's not a voice inside your head, like, reading out, like, the word dyslexia. You know, it's just like you reading it, but there's nothing going in your head.
Interesting. But that's also weird then, because that's how they try and teach you to speed read. You're not supposed to be hearing the voice. You're supposed to be just, like, looking at the things. Which is, like...
Is that a thing?
Like, it seems strange. If that's, like, the way that if that's the way that dyslexia works, then that's the way that they teach you to speed read. You're just supposed to kind of, like, look at the words and not, like, read it all out in your head and just kind of, like, absorb it. I don't know.
Some sort of super dyslexia. So... the way I speed read is actually just, like, just picking out random, like, words and then just trying to make it out along the way. Yeah. Just hoping I find it along the way, pretty much.
Yeah, that's what I hope comes in handy on the GRE, which I'm still just, like, trying to process that I have in, like, 2.5 weeks. I don't know why I signed up for it at the very beginning of the semester. but I have my grad school test, and I'm hoping that speed reading saves me, because I have not studied for it at all.
My heart started beating fast for you.
I'm hoping.
Good luck. Safe travels.
It's not
along your way.
I make bad life choices. These are all the things I have to do within the next 5 days. Not excited about it. These are things that I should do within the next 5 days that I probably won't do.
But you're doing shit. That's what counts.
Oh, that's another question that I have. How do you relax as a creative person? Because I am very...
Go on.
I'm very bad at relaxing, since I'm, like, about to go on vacation in, like, 5 days. This is why I have the list of everything that, like, I need to do before then, because I'm trying to actually not work, and I'm very bad at not working. So what is your chill thing? Because I always have, like, too many ideas, and I'm like, oh, I have some time. I should do this right now.
Parkour. Yeah, I like to do parkour. That's my spare thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd probably break a knee.
I haven't done that yet. I haven't broken anything yet. I'm pretty proud to say that. But yeah, I guess it's just like I found that the thing that makes me happiest besides music is running along trying to kill myself. So that's... I don't know what to tell you about that.
I feel like that makes sense, though. Because it's like, instead of, like, using, like, your brain to, like, move everything, because it's like, it's music and sound waves, and you're, like, thinking through all that stuff, you're, like, using your body to, like, burn off all that energy. So I guess that makes sense. I was really into running freshman year, and I used it to, like, burn off all the energy I still had in myself so that I wouldn't work on things.
I mean, you'd be surprised at how much actually goes into parkour. Because you have to, like, time everything. Like, you still have to do a lot of thinking.
I'm trying to imagine just how to do it. I'm not coordinated at all, so, like, I don't think that's a thing I could do without severely injuring myself.
I don't do any of the flips or anything. Funny enough, that's actually another term. That's free running. All those flips, all those unnecessary things, that's free running. Parkour is just like basic, like, you're trying to get from point A to point B.
Okay.
Now, it's like, there's science behind it, which is odd. Like, when I started it, I was like, oh, I have to learn stuff, but it's like you have to apply the same pressure as the strength of a wall in order to go up it. Little things like that, and, like, getting the rolls perfectly, and the science behind that is, like, if you fall, you know, you're falling at a fast speed, right? So what you do is, like, you roll in order to get that all over your body. Like, the more time it takes you to hit the ground, the better. Because then you're dispersing, like, the slam throughout your whole body instead of just your legs. Little things like that. It makes for a good time.
That makes sense. All of that, like, stress otherwise would probably destroy you.
No doubt. How do you relax, then?
That's why I'm like, I currently don't. If anything, I just, like, sleep, which I also have a hard time doing because I just lay there and I still have, like, I'm like, oh, I'm still thinking about these things, and I'm just laying in bed, like, still writing things in my notes. That's why I have thousands and thousands of notes on my phone from just, like, laying in bed and, like, writing other things. But yeah, currently I've had way too many things, so I just don't. I used to play games. I had to delete all the games off my computer because I had no space, so I don't even have that. My Xbox stopped reading discs, so I don't have that right now. And yeah. So I haven't really relaxed in the past couple months.
So let me ask you this. Do you relax... I mean, do you take up other projects in order to relax from your current projects?
Yes.
I think that's what anyone does. I mean, I do that frequently. I think it's just a way... It's a way to, like, plead for help.
Save me. But that's why, what is it? Like, last week, I think, I was working on this, like, this stupid, like, 3D robot that I'm supposed to be doing for class, And then I was like, okay, I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to write a poem. So then I wrote a poem for like an hour, and then after that I was like, okay, I'm going to go back to this, or I switched projects. I can't remember which I ended up doing. But it's just like switching between like various Adobe projects, and like, oh, I'll edit this one, or I'll edit this one, and then I'll write this thing, or I'll draw over here, and then it's bad.
It can get to you.
Yeah. But what is it for you? What kind of like other creative projects do you like take up? Do you just like do more music?
I like to learn different singing styles, but besides that, well, actually, staying on that topic real quick, the two singing styles that I've dabbled with, now I'm not like completely there yet, but Tuvan singing is one. Are you aware of that? Mm-mm. That would be Mongolian throat singing. Okay. Basically, it's actually very dangerous because if you do it wrong when you start, you could actually rupture your vocal cords.
Yeah.
But it's basically rubbing them against each other to create overtones and making your voice very deep, and it's fun. It's basically when you clear your throat, but you just keep that going.
Okay.
Yeah.
That seems difficult to do. And painful.
It actually does hurt at first. Like, you can only do it for so long, and then like your throat hurts the rest of the day. But that's because I was doing that without any training. Now I'm like okay at it, but eventually you produce something called overtones, and that's what I was practicing for a while too, overtone singing, and that is essentially creating a note 2 octaves above the one you're singing. What happens is that a note is actually several notes, but you just pick out one, you know? Okay. And what happens is when you do overtone singing, one that is 2 octaves up ends up getting shot out a little more than the rest of them. So then you can hear that one as well.
Like, my voice is like always this low, so I'm thinking about like that seems awesome to be able to do.
You should try out Tuvan singing.
I was bad at any kind of singing because my voice it didn't like it.
So, do you not believe everyone can sing?
I don't know if I think everyone can. I feel like you have to be able to like hear like certain tones and stuff. And I feel like I might be able to like hear music, but I don't know if I can mimic that. I feel like there's a certain level of like you have to be able to like match other things, and I don't think that that's a skill that I have.
It's probably because my when I joined choir in high school, and my teacher was like desperate for guys, so not you know what I mean. Yeah. And so she would basically say like, oh, anyone can sing and stuff, you know, but like that kind of got ingrained into my head. Like the way that it was explained is, you know, like, can you hear when a car is going to change gears and all that? Then you can sing. If you can hear your mom's voice through the phone, you can sing. Like, it's just a matter of practicing enough. And I believe that as well. Eventually, someone can match pitch, and after that, they could sing a whole song. And who knows what else they could do.
Dang.
It's just a matter of getting there. Yeah.
I'm thinking of all the bad American Idol, like The Voice auditions that I've seen, and I'm like, one day they too can re-audition and make it through.
One day Simon will not laugh at this guy. Yeah.
Yeah, those were like the traumatic things of like my childhood. I was like, oh, is this what it was like when I auditioned for choir and they let everybody in? And I'm like, was I one of these people? And they're like, yeah, you're in. Like, reluctantly. That's how I felt about, like, I was watching back on, I have my old computer over here, so I have, like, videos from, like, elementary school choir that, like, I was in, and hearing, like, the group of, like, 60 kids singing, and I'm like, we're all tone deaf as hell. Like, it's bad. And I'm like, and no one told us. Our parents are just there, recording happily, and being like, oh, look at these children who can sing.
Huh. So, let me ask you, do you enjoy choirs?
I do.
Okay. I mean, I really love the sound of choirs. I mean, it's the, to me, I think it's just like the experience that I had, and just knowing like all these people managed to pull that song off. you know, they worked hard and they really just synchronized with every single one of them. I think of all the teamwork that they had behind the scenes and how after the show they're probably nervous as hell, but they're like, "You got it! You just did!" And then, you know, the cheering and then the, you know, oh, it's so great.
See, like it's the thing where it's like there are some choirs that are like really good, but then like I know like mine and like my cousin's choir. I remember one of the performances, it was really amazing, and then like one girl's solo, I was like, oh. And then they went back to the group and I was like, you can't hear her anymore. But then it's like when like certain people are picked out, so it's like it depends. Sometimes together it like neutralizes anyone who's bad, but then like anyone who's like pulled out, it's like, oh, they can't match everyone else anymore, which I'm like, that I feel like is interesting thing about like choirs is that like you can harmonize, but maybe you can't do that without like hearing the other thing.
I think you're completely right, because I actually had that problem for a long time. I would be better in a choir than on my own, and I think that's just a matter of like relying on your teammates and like trying desperately to like not do it on your own, because that's scary as hell. Like it's scarier to be alone than other people, obviously. So yeah, it's a matter of getting that practice, and really it's a inner thing more than anything. That's what I think. Also, do you prefer, like, do you like ASMR?
It depends on who's doing it. Some voices I'm okay with it, and some voices I'm like, no. Like, I really like the singer Dodie Clark, and I like her YouTube videos. But she's done ASMR videos before that I got like 3 seconds into, and I had to leave, and I couldn't do it. But then there are other people who have done it, and I'm like, this is fine.
Do you have any other ASMR artists that you want to shout out?
No, there was this, I always mention it on like Twitch streams. There's this girl who used to stream, Cody Coyote, and she was really like aggressive because like chat was like always like over sexualizing her, so she'd always just be like, well, I'm just gonna shove this microphone straight up your ass. Like, she would just be like really, really mean, but like in a soft, gentle tone and like a warm voice. And then she'd crinkle candy wrappers. Yeah, Kelsey's interesting. She's a character.
I can see.
Yeah.
Or rather, I'd like to hear it.
Yeah, I don't have a clip of it anymore. I think the only clip that I still have of her is because she read one of my poems on stream once. What is it? Someone else like requested it. They're like, hey, read one of Ashley's poems. And so she went to my Twitter and she read the last one I had written, and I was like, wow, that was amazing. Thank you. So it's like a whispering tone of like reading poetry. And I was just like, I'm for this.
So what if somebody who you didn't like their voice, did that for you? How would you feel?
Well, clearly uncomfortable, because that's how I feel about like some ASMR videos. Like the moment that like I hear it in my headphones, I'm just like, like my ears feel itchy and I need to like take it out. Otherwise I feel like, do you like ASMR, and do you also feel itchy?
I love ASMR, but I never feel itchy. It's more of like I just don't feel anything, so I have to switch to like, you know, like I really like finger fluttering and stuff. Like I like hand stuff, you know, like
okay.
Then get them going. You know, like you know, my ears, it gets them going. Not me personally, just the ears. ASMR, yeah. So I really like the sound of orchestras, like when they're tuning their instruments. It's like the most heavenly sound on earth. Like that's
okay.
I love it.
So one day you need to go to like a Broadway show, get orchestra seats for like anything, and then just like sit there, because when I was at I went to Newsies when I was 16, and my mom bought us, like, orchestra seats for, like, my 16th birthday. And so we're sitting right there, and, like, the pit's literally right in front of us, and I can, like, see, like, through the curtain and see them all, like, sitting there and, like, tuning their instruments. And just, like, hearing it and, like, feeling it is, like, amazing.
Oh, feeling it. Oh God, that must feel great.
It's amazing. I love sitting really close in like theater things. I also saw In the Heights last year. What is it? Sitting front row, and so I just like feeling voices and like being able to feel the orchestra and having people like spit on you, like who are like professional singers. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah, I bet.
They get real intense. You can see all the sweat. It's great. I'm like, those are pros.
Gosh. I usually tell myself that if I was ever a supervillain, I know that I would be associated with like vibrations, because I have like this like, I don't want to say fetish, but I think it might be to that point. Like I think like, oh God, vibrations. It's just something about it, just like the waves of it all. It just feels like I think about it and I get like chills. Just it probably has a lot to do with sound for sure, but like it's just like they're everywhere and it's great. Like it does things to my ears. It does things for like the earth. The earth it vibrates. You know, a lot of things vibrate. It's weird.
Didn't you say yesterday that you were like riding a bus? Do you really like riding the bus? And like putting like your head
Oh yes! When that window rattles, it's the best time in my life.
Okay, I'm like, I used to do that all the time in like middle and high school, like riding the bus home and just like putting like my head like against the window. I would fall asleep like a baby, like riding home. That was the best.
I still fall asleep on car rides in general, because like my mom, in order to get me to like shut up as a kid, like to go to sleep, she would take me on like car rides around the block like 3 times, and then when I would fall asleep, she'd like carry me into the house. You know,
you said carry me, but like you just threw it.
Yeah, well, I mean, she would do whatever she had to do. Yeah, like, but apparently I would wake up sometimes, like right when she like parked, so like she had to do it again. I think I just have a big thing with like vibrating, like it just feels amazing. I think it's one of the best things on earth, and that's why I love music. Well, that's not the only reason, but it's a big one.
That's cool though. It's like, I'm trying to remember, I think it might be the Flash. I'm like, isn't Cisco's like superpower that his name's like Vibe or something?
Yeah, it's sort of like that. Yeah, like he well, it's more like every Earth has like a different frequency.
Yeah.
So like, yeah.
You feel the little airwaves and you're like, ooh.
I do that. Or like I'd vibrate and like I'd make earthquakes. That's my thing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I wish.
I'm trying to think of. I'm imagining you as like a little sim, and just like I'm like, where would I plop you if like there was like a place or like a job that would be like, I don't know, motiony, like a subway, literally any kind of concert hall,
electric bull, jackhammer,
dude, the entire construction site around me.
Wait, you're in Austin, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So going back to Rooster Teeth, they were right about everything. Austin, what the fuck? Why are you always under construction? I was so surprised.
It never ends. I've lived here for only 3 years now, and places that they say will be done in 6 months never end. Places that they also just have really bad timing. Like the university, they finally finished like this like main walkway, speedway. They finally finished that after like 2.5 years. They misdid it the first time. They laid down literally the entire thing, and the moment that they opened it up, the bricks started breaking. They didn't account for like how much like bikes and everything, because like people literally had told them the way that you're laying the bricks the whole thing's gonna start breaking, like, immediately. It can't handle this. And they're like, no, it's fine. And so they finally got to the end of the project, and then they started breaking immediately. So they had to redo the whole thing. It cost, like, $36 million. I can't remember if that was before or after they had to, like, redo it. So they finally redid that. But then, literally, they just started construction on, like, and, like, renovations on, like, the main library and the tower, like, a few weeks ago. And school starts in 2 weeks. And so I was like, great. Good going, guys.
Oh, Austin.
And that's just the campus. The rest of the city is, like, Bernie's always complaining about Mopac. He's like, Mopac has been under construction since 1995. And he's right. It has been under construction since 1995. It never ends. And that's this whole city.
When I got to the airport, I was looking for that terminal, the door that he was, like, bitching so much about one day. Like, where he got to a yelling fight with, like, Gavin and stuff. Oh, God. But I couldn't find it, unfortunately. Next time. There's always next time.
I haven't been to the Austin airport yet, so I don't have any complaints about it at this point. But I have complaints about the entire rest of the city, and just, like, I'm glad that I don't drive here. Whenever I'm in a lift, like, I'm always like, none of these roads are paved right. There's holes everywhere. I had to get my computer fixed last, like, November, and so I had to go to the Apple store a bunch, but the one road that takes you to this mall that's, like, in the middle of nowhere, that's the other thing about Austin. The malls are in, like, holes. Like, you have to go through all these neighborhoods and, like, swirly things to, like, get to them. But, the road had, like, tons of potholes. It was totally uneven. I'm a person who gets car sick, so, like, I was in the front seat, and I was, like, about to vomit and die, and so then I finally, like, got to the mall after, like, all these, like, whirling streets and all these holes, and I was like, great, I have to do this again, like, 4 more times, and it wasn't fun. I threw up a lot those 2 weeks, but yeah, the city is just, it hasn't been maintained well, but they also didn't anticipate this many people to move to Austin.
That's something that I find really cool, though. Like, what is the next spot that people are going to start going to? Like, what is the new big city? You know, I'm not saying that it's going to be the big city, but, you know, it's just turning into one. Yeah. And it might have been already. I could just be talking out of my own ass.
It's mostly, like, there was, like, the first wave back in, like, the 90s, because before the 90s, it was, like, no one was here. It was just, like, the hipsters. Like, no one was here at all. And then, like, people started, like, moving here, but then there was, like, a huge, like, bump back in, like, I think right after the recessions, like 2009 and stuff, it, like, really started, like, bumping up again. And now people are just really trying to move here. And it's, like, insane. But yeah, people who lived here, like, early 90s, they say it's, like, nothing like it was before.
The traffic, honestly, my first day of, like, going to RTX over there, for those of you who don't know, Rooster Teeth Expo? Is that the...
I don't know. I don't know if it's Rooster Teeth Expo, Rooster Teeth Experience. Who knows?
Located in Austin, Texas. Like, so my hotel was, like, 5 miles out. And, yo, the traffic was just like LA's. It was so bad. Like, I was like, wow, this is surprising. I was, like, taken aback even. I was like, this is weird, because I already felt like the San Diego weather and Texas weather, like Austin, it's very similar. I almost felt like I was back at home, especially with that traffic. I was like, wow, I am in California. And some of the roads, funny enough, like, they're like they remind me of, like, TJ, like Mexico, like, and that was surprising too. It's just a weird place, but funny enough, you have 6th Street, and in Tijuana, Mexico, there's where pretty much everyone drinks is also a place called Sexta, 6th Street in Spanish. Yeah, and they block it off just like that too. It was really surprising, especially with all the pizza stands. The similarities were, like, shocking.
You're like, I'm literally just in the same place as I'm already going.
Yeah.
You're like, what is this? The one thing LA is like the only thing that I remember. I can agree on the traffic. That's the one thing I remember from when I've been to LA. But the signage in LA, I remember my mom trying to drive like on the highway there, and we ended up like going so many wrong places just because we passed the exits, because the only sign would be like right before it happened, and we'd be like, well, there goes that.
You kind of have to know where you're going.
Yeah,
you know?
It wasn't a fun time. The one time we were in LA, we got hella lost.
Also, a way to tell right away that you're not from around here is the fact that you said highway, because we always say the freeway here.
Oh,
that's just the thing. Yeah, the freeway.
I don't know what a freeway is. I don't know the difference between those technicalities. I just call everything a highway. I also don't drive, so I wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
It's a highway or an interstate, honestly, but for some reason, I guess we just picked it up and started saying freeway. So, but it's not just freeway, it's the freeway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not about that. I don't even know what...
It's a thing.
I'm like, what do we have? We have I-35, which is the interstate, but you just call it I-35. Yeah, that's all I know. That's the main one that goes through Austin. San Antonio, there's 410 and 1604, and those are loops, though. Loop 410, Loop 1604. You can go along one of them and just end up on the other side of the city, and just... San Antonio is a circle, which is really convenient if you get lost in San Antonio, though. Because it's like, oh, I can just keep going along and it'll take me back.
Pretty much, what I like about my area specifically, where I live, it's like, there are plenty of freeways in San Diego, but, like, my area, the way to tell where you are is, like, it's basically San Isidro. That's my little small part of, like, San Diego. It's like a town. But, the way to tell where it cuts off is basically the freeways. There's the 805, the 905, and the 5. It's really confusing. They all end in 5. One of them is just a 5, but they form a triangle. And if you're within the triangle, you're in my area.
Okay.
If you're just out of it, boom, you're not in here anymore. You can't claim it. I'm very strict about that policy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That cracks me up. Just thinking about her, it's like, oh, you can't claim that. My mom is so mad because they redid, like, the boundaries in San Antonio. So literally, like, the street that, like, turns into our neighborhood, they changed the boundary a few years ago. So it's literally the beginning of that road is no longer San Antonio. So she's now in Helotes, and like, which is like a smaller town outside. So she was pissed off because she was trying to like vote for mayor, and they're like, "Oh, you can't vote for mayor of San Antonio, but you can vote for like mayor of Helotes." And she's like, "I'm not voting for that tiny ass town. I don't claim that." But she was mad. She's like, "I don't even live in this city anymore."
Oh my god!
But she was like real upset because like when we moved there, it was like the middle of nowhere, and then they were like, oh, it's not San Antonio, but it's still Bexar County, but it wasn't quite Helotes. And then they moved the Helotes boundaries out, I guess, so now she's in Helotes. And so I was like... But she was so mad because she's like, I can't even vote for anything. But yeah, so she's like, I don't claim Helotes. San Antonio doesn't claim me. Who am I?
I think, like, so here, especially, like, so we have, like, Oceanside, which is like the middle ground between LA and San Diego. And usually people from Oceanside like to say, oh yeah, I'm from San Diego, but that's bullshit. And if you say that, then fuck you. Like, personally, like, that's how I feel about it, because I just, you can't claim it. You're not near the city. You have to drive an hour down just to go to downtown. You're not one of us. Stop pretending.
Dude, there was this girl freshman year when we were like introducing ourselves at I think this like science thing. And she said, oh, I'm from San Antonio. And me and my boyfriend at the time were asking her like, oh, like what side of San Antonio are you from? And she said Shirts. Shirts is not San Antonio. Shirts is literally like partway between San Antonio and Austin. Like it's outside the skirts of the city. And I'm like, that's not even what? So I was like, I don't claim you either. People who say that they're from like Shirts or from what are the other places? New Braunfels. All those, they're outside the city limits. Like, what is that?
It happens. People want to be it. Like they want to be one of us, but they can't. They can't do it, and it's
like,
it's
I'm from a big city.
infuriating.
You're really not.
Oh gosh. Like I can talk about that a lot, honestly. It makes me so mad.
It's just one of those things where I'm like, but you're not even close though.
It's an irrational thing for sure though. Like I shouldn't be so pressed about it, but like I really am. Like you can't do that. It's like national pride, but except with my city. Just with my city.
I'm like, I grew up like 7 minutes away from like the San Antonio airports. Like I used to be like right near downtown, so I'm like, I'm from San Antonio, like as close as you can get to it. And so when people are like, yeah, I'm from San Antonio, and I'm like, you're some country kid. What are you talking about?
I think, like, especially for big cities, if you are within the transportation line, then you can claim the city.
Yeah, that sounds valid. You can still use a Via bus. You're here in San Antonio. But if you're literally like 30 minutes outside, I don't think you count anymore.
If you have to drive a little just to get near, you're done.
That's like the other thing. It's like, I'm like, you're still University of San Antonio and SeaWorld and like Six Flags, like on the outskirts. Like, that's still San Antonio then.
There's just Six Flags over there?
Yeah. San Antonio's got everything. San Antonio's bigger than Austin, which I don't think a lot of people realize. It's like twice as big, I think.
I had Whataburger. That was good. That was surprising.
Texas toast.
I had, it was like a honey bun or something like that with like barbecue something, like barbecue chicken. It was great. I had a good time at 2 a.m. That's all I'm saying.
Dude, Whataburger is for after 1 a.m. it is for like that time before or that time like right in between like night and like before the sun rises. Like you don't go to Whataburger during the day. Why would you do such a thing?
Wait. Say it again.
What? You don't go to Whataburger during the day?
Okay. No, it's because you were saying Whataburger.
Whataburger? Whataburger? No one says Whataburger. It's how it's spelled.
I say Whataburger.
You don't say Whataburger. You say Whataburger.
My friend was saying Whataburger, and I thought that was the weirdest thing.
It's just
I don't know. Like, it's so. I don't know.
Judge me.
I'm so for phonetics. Is the thing like.
Like if someone says, I know that for sure. I say ain't. I say gonna. I say when ya. Like I don't say my ings unless like I'm doing a presentation and I'm really trying to be like uppity and I'm like, we are going to the blah 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 with all of you instead of we're gonna go to the thing with all of y'all and we're gonna do this. Like that's how I normally speak, and that's how I text because I want people to understand that that's the way I'm saying things.
You said understand too, like that's funny.
Is that not a normal word? What?
I mean, it was just very like lazy.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like I'm so for phonetics, like when someone says FAFSA instead of FAFSA, that
bothers me only because I'm like, that's not actually the name of the thing.
it just, oh my god. And the other day my friend wrote like he has a to-do list and he wrote FAFSA or something like that, and I was like, how does that even happen? And it's just surprising. He said FAFSA too at some point. Oh my god. That's just it just it drives me nuts when that sort of thing happens. Like y'all and fine.
Yeah. That just reminds me of like the most common misspelling of like my name, which is like not even close, which is like Asely. Aseley.
How?
I don't know. But like my neighbor used to always spell it like that. Like my friend Chloe, she used to always spell it like that. Some people, and they're like, "Oh, hey, it's Ashley," but like they say Ashley, but like they spell it Ashley, and I'm like, "That's no." And like when I say like, they're like, "Oh, how do you spell Ashley?" And I'm like, the normal way, like Ashley, and like, or sometimes I'll say my name's Ashley, and they'll spell it the weird way, which is like Ashleigh. And I'm like, okay. Why is that like your default Ashley?
There's also ASH. You know what? Let's have an Esh. Why don't we just add an Esh to the alphabet?
Is
Like,
that
let's
in
do it.
Old English? No. They have, like, the thanes and all the other things, which are really weird. I took a linguistics
English.
class, so they made us learn, like, all of the... What is it? All those weird combination letters that are, like... I don't know. I'm trying to remember what they are. They all have such weird sounds. And, like, EPA.
Oh.
Or not EPA. Is it... No? What's the name? Of, like, when you're trying to pronounce things. The little chart that, like, you look up. Or, like, you'll go to Wikipedia and it'll pronounce things and it'll show you all the weird little letters. No?
You lost me there.
Damn. Oh my
Wait,
god.
so you took a linguistics class,
See.
and you're not a singer.
No.
I think linguistics, like I think they go hand in hand.
Really?
I think in order to be a singer, you have to be able to, like, know linguistics, like to be able to move your tongue and your mouth in a certain way, because that's very important.
I'm like, I could pronounce things really well in, like, different languages, like, a lot of stuff, except for French. French is, like, the only language I've had a really hard time with.
Je m'appelle, oui, oui, croissant. Alright, go on.
Yeah. All those weird, like, non-letters in between there, my mind can't wrap it around it. I can say things in Russian, and, like, Bulgarian, and Hindi, and, like, Chinese. I can say stuff in, like, all these, like, weird tonal languages, and, like, Cyrillic stuff, and, like, all that, but it's, like, French eludes me. Which is what I found out in that linguistics class. Because we had, like, a bunch of different languages that, like, we'd try and, like, pronounce the weird letters in, and so...
I think it has a lot to do with, like the reason linguistics is so cool to me is because it really is a measure of how well you are at using your mouth. How let's see, let's get an innuendo count, please.
I'm gonna put it in there at the beginning. I need to now. No,
yeah, I think, like, the back of the throat, I'm trying really hard to just not do this, but
I know what you mean. I'm following.
It's a measure of how you're able to use your throat and how you're able to vibrate along with it. You know, fuck, I'm losing it.
I'm like, now I'm flashing back to literally every diagram I saw in, like, my linguistics class, and I'm like, those could be misinterpreted very easily, because it's like, you use your throat for this, and you use, like, this part of your tongue, and, like, your teeth, and you make, like, all these different, like, motions for this sound, and I'm like, yeah, could be, everything could be an innuendo at that point.
There was this YouTuber I used to watch. I think he, like, worked for a certain company, like Wired or something like that. I don't know, but he would, like, go over, like, different movie accents or anything, like, be like, this is bad, and this is why, and then he's like, this is a h instead of a ha, you know, like, things, you know, it was, like, cool to watch, because, like, damn, you're right. Yeah, that's really all I do in my free time, too, is, like, I'll watch, like, some Naruto videos and be like, wow, that's really cool, and... But wait, and then I'll go from that to, like, linguistics and, like, oh, this is how Tame Impala creates music, and then I'll go to, like, ASMR and be like, wow, I feel relaxed, and go back to Naruto, and it's just like, it's not that, like, that's not all I watch, but
that's interesting though.
Weird.
That, like, all those things with, like, sound or, like, what attract you. And now I have to ask, do you listen to Naruto, or do you watch Naruto in English or in, like, Japanese?
For me, it's Japanese, but I hardly, like, I read it, is why, like, I don't really have an attachment to voices. I feel like if you listen to it in a certain language, then you're that's it, like, that's your flagship, you know? But yeah, Japanese for sure, especially because, like, English Kakashi sounds weird to me.
But I find that interesting, that, like, everything else is, like, a sound thing, and, like, you would even pick, like, a different language to, like, also listen to it in. Which is, like, you have all the musical things, like, even throughout, like, your other, like, random activities, which are, like, listening to ASMR videos and, like, watching anime. It's always there.
I mean, you know, I actually do draw, but I used to a lot. Now not so much, because I don't know, but I used to take music, funny enough, and I would interpret it. Like, I would listen to something and be like, all right, that's how I'm feeling with this. And so it's very vice versa, I guess, is the best way to put it.
It's like you're still visualizing what you're hearing. You're just putting it to paper then. That's cool. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't done it in like a couple years. I have some posters. I used to make posters, is what I would do. I still have some here, but yeah. Yeah. Among other skills, I guess, I sew. I like to sew. I would make cosplay before, and like that was a trade I learned along the way.
Nice. What did you cosplay?
It was the first one was like an apprentice assassin from Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. A little deep cut there, you know. After that, it was Connor Kenway from Assassin's Creed 3, the Native American, who I had so much I so much love for him. Wow, he's great. I just wanted to be him. Is really it, you know. The next one after that, I think, was a Fallout costume, and I did Vault 69.
Nice.
Innuendo count. Wait, no, scratch that. Doesn't go in there.
That one was like intentional, so it doesn't count.
Yeah, but I was Vault 69 for that. And I think next one, I do have another Assassin's Creed one in the works, but I think I want to do a Star Wars one. Now, I want to do a Tusken Raider, but I don't know if that's too tough. So I might just go with like a Sith robe, but I feel like that's too lazy. So I'll find something.
You gotta challenge your skills. You gotta at least try for the hard one.
The Tusken Raider, the only reason I want to do it is just so I can recreate that scene where that's it. That's the goal.
If you want the meme, you gotta fulfill the dream. That's what you gotta do.
Do you translate your poems into anything else?
I only did it once for my, what is it? It wasn't this past semester, it was fall of last year. What is it? My professor, she's, I don't want to be wrong about this, so I'm not going to say what tribe she is of Native American, but she's like very passionate about like making sure that like the language like survives, and she's very passionate about that. So she always makes sure that like her poems are translated like back into like her language, and then like Spanish. And so we translated a Lorca poem from Spanish to English, and then like our own poems from like English to Spanish if we knew that already. And I remember being really mad about like a translation of a Lorca poem by this like white guy Robert Bly, which was terrible, and I'm like, he ruined it. But trying to translate my own poems to Spanish is always very interesting, just because it's like I learned it as like Spanglish when I was little. Like I used to be much better at Spanish when I grew up, because like I went to a school that was like entirely Hispanic, and I lived in a neighborhood that was entirely Hispanic, and I spoke Spanish a lot more. Then I moved with the white kids, and I lost all of it. But I always have a hard time just like trying to find the right words in Spanish that mean the same thing. Like I can usually be like, this is kind of close to the feeling, but not quite what I'm going for. Because then it ends up like a jumbled mess of, this part sounds really good in Spanish, like it flows here, but then this part doesn't feel the same like it does in English. And so then I end up having like a struggle. I need to get better at Spanish again. One day I'll be able to translate things. That'd be nice.
I think, well, actually, before I go on to that thought, before that, yeah, I forgot, like, if you spoke it, but, like, I know that you said that you were Mexican and stuff, like, when I met you, and I was like, what?
I'm happy, so, like, but my mom's also really light-complected, and so is my grandma. Like, my cousins are really dark, and they look like my grandpa, and then my grandma is really light, and then my mom's really light, and then I'm really light, and then I'm half, so then it, like, totally washes it out even more.
So for Spanish, I don't feel comfortable writing in Spanish, although I do sometimes, and I speak it. You know, I'm fluent in it, and I can write it like well, you know. But I know I do carry some sort of English accent now because I've spoken it. I used to be ashamed of it, sort of, in high school, funny enough. Like, I went to, like, an all-Mexican school, pretty much, you know, like, and like, there's some problems with that school, but I won't go too much into it, because, that's for another time. Or maybe this time, but just a little later, you know. But, yeah, like, I guess it was more of, like, a thing to, like, wanting to fit in with, like, my friends from, like, the northern part of San Diego, because the southern part is very Mexican dominated. So I sort of lost my Spanish for a while, but after a while I started going back to Mexico and everything, and like started speaking it a lot more. So I'm definitely like better at it, but it's tough. And when I do write in it, it's more of like I see it in a different color. Like, I try to get to the same result, but every line is very different from the ones that I would think of in English.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is a flow thing, but if you can't translate it, then don't, is what I've found. That it's better off to just think of something else that would get to the next line while still leaving the same taste in your mouth. No? Yeah.
I feel like maybe if I don't know, I'd need to be immersed in it again, like how I was when I was little, like to really feel comfortable with Spanish. I think I actually wrote a poem in Italian, though, like a year or two ago, because I took an Italian class. So I was like more, like, I'd been working on, Italian for literally like a year at that point. So I think I wrote a poem in Italian, and I felt more comfortable with that. But then trying to even get that back to like Spanish is still like hard. Because again, like you need to be like in that language to really feel like, oh, like this would be the feeling, or like this would be how you would say that kind of thing. Because like there's proper Spanish that like I've tried to learn, which is just wrong compared to like the slang language, the slang Spanish that like I grew up knowing, which is like, I don't know. I feel like I don't know proper Spanish, and so like every now and then, like, I'll sprinkle Spanish into, like, poems. I wrote one poem that, I think I posted it, and then I just remember some people understood it completely, and some people were like, this is too Mexican for me. Like, I don't understand these words. Because I think I brought up, like, champurrado, which is, like, the chocolate with the masa in it. And, trying to remember other things. There were just, like, little things in there that were just, like, I want to use these words in Spanish because they're, like, not words in English. Or, like, I don't know how to say them in English if they are words. Which is a thing that I come across every now and then, is, like, there are words that, like, I only say in Spanish, like, ever, and I don't know what they are in English. And so, like, I think I brought this up. I don't remember if I brought this up on the last podcast or if I, like, just mentioned it, but I didn't know the word for, like, dustpan until, like, a year ago when I was in my Italian class. Because I'm like, I've always called it a palita. And, like, that's just what it is. And, like, I didn't know what dustpan was. And then, what was the other thing? There's another thing that I, like, went across. But I was like, I never knew how to say that in English. Oh, hair tie. How, like, when people ask for, like...
brocha de pelo.
See, that's not what people say either. Like, here we just call it chongo, which is still, like, ponytail, but, like...
well, chongo is like the hair, though.
Yeah, but that's not what we say. It's always like, do you have a chongo? And so it's like, got a chongo. And so then when I went to, like, when I started college, or like I was with like white people, and like I wanted like a hair tie, and I didn't know the word for it. I was like, do you have something to put your hair up with? And they were like, oh, like a hair, or she said a hair elastic, and I was just like, yes, that. And I was just like, that's a weird way to call that, but it just felt wrong. So there were, like, little things that every now and then I run across that are, like, I only say that in Spanish, so I'll just say that in Spanish, because that's how I know it. But, yeah. I lose more of those things as the years go on. Oh, the other thing, which is not, like, a word, but it was just, like, a cultural thing that I didn't know about. I didn't know that stoves didn't come with, a comal. until I was 17 and I went to a white friend's house for the first time. I didn't know that stoves didn't come with those.
What do you mean they don't come with those?
That, like, a comal isn't, like, automatically on the stove on, like, the top right-hand corner. And I'm like, where's your comal? Like, how do you make your tortillas? And they're like, you just make them in, like, the microwave. And I'm like, that's not part of the stove.
Oh, like, you always had it there.
Yeah, like everyone's house I had ever gone to. I'd never gone to a white person's house, I guess, until I was, like, 17. And then I was like...
Oh shit! What? Like, well, I mean, we hide ours in the stove, which I feel is more Mexican.
Everyone's house has always left them there. No, the Mexican thing is using like butter containers, takeout containers for like everything else in the fridge. So it's like, which one's really the butter, guys? I don't know. That's the Mexican.
No, the favorite container of all time. I think I speak for everyone's Mexican like parents. It's like the cookie one. The Christmas cookies, the blue one.
What's in there?
That's the one.
Is it sewing stuff? Is it cooking stuff? Is it my grandma taking sugar on a trip? It usually is.
That's the container.
But yeah, there's so many. Like, why would you buy Tupperware if you could just use literally any other container?
Did you ever come across the pleasure of Princess House?
Of what?
Princess House.
I don't think so.
That's like a huge thing here, or at least it was. Like they were like part. It's like Avon or whatever, you know.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like silverware and like pots and all this, but they're supposed to be like really good. And like if you touch that, you would just get a slap across your face because that's like you don't go near that at all. Like Dang. That, like I guess that costs a lot of money. Like yeah, it's surprising. Like I guess it's a thing here, but yeah.
Interesting.
I tend to use them, but like I'll do it in the way that'll piss my mom off the most. Like it's not that like I want to make her mad. It's just that I want to make her mad. Like in like a fun way though.
Do you use them for like the wrong drinks, or do you hold them the wrong way?
I'll like for glasses, like I'll put like soda in there or something like that.
That's me.
And then for like the actual like plates or whatever, I'll like put them on the floor as I'm eating on the floor or something like that.
I eat on the floor all the time too, and with like my nice plates. My nice plates though, they're just whenever I decide not to eat on a paper plate, it's a fancy occasion, but I'll still eat on the floor.
Honestly, I've been debating getting rid of my bed because I sleep on the floor more than I do on my bed, and I have my bed on the floor at the moment because I want to like. I took off the bed frame because I thought that took way too much space in my room. So I have the bed on my floor now, and I feel like a loser when people walk in. They're like, "Oh, he sleeps like that," but like I just want to remove the bed entirely. So they're like, "Where does he sleep?" And they might think like I'll sleep in my closet now or something like that. But no, it's just the floor. You're standing on my bed. Like I don't know. I just have a thing like that. I like the floor.
I mean, lots of cultures do that. Lots of people prefer not to sleep on a bed. It's kind of excessive.
Yeah, it really is.
During the semester, when, like, I'm sleeping in my bed right now, but during the semester, I'll be on this tiny-ass couch or on that little, like, lounge chair over there, because I'll fall asleep, like, studying in the kitchen a lot. I have my little, like, tiny chair, like, over there, and I'll sit underneath that light so that I won't fall asleep, and I'll end up falling asleep. And I'll just wake up, like, arms crossed, laying back, my computer's, like, on my ankles, and then I'm just, like, sitting underneath the kitchen light at, like, 6 a.m.
Jeez.
Like, I fell asleep here again. I've fallen asleep at this desk before, so.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm not good at like falling asleep in normal places, but I haven't gotten to that point yet in the year. It'll happen soon.
I've fallen asleep at parks before, but that's
God.
like.
I've
that's
only
like
done that
after
with friends. Have you fallen asleep alone?
Yeah, but it's like it was like after a parkour session, say. And like really tired, and it's like, you know, I like to do it at night because like
God, I was about to say, I'm like,
jumping,
is it at least during the day when there's like people there, but no, like at night, you're gonna die.
Jumping around on stuff isn't really like it's frowned upon, you know. So I do it in the dark, and then like sometimes I've just been like, wow, I'm tired, and then I'm like, wow, that looks comfy. So I like sit and like, oh, an hour's gone by, and yeah, so yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm a light sleeper though, so like I usually wake up a lot, like a lot.
That's good-ish, I guess. One of the best like just like laying in the grass like places I've ever been is like London. I don't know what it is with that grass. I don't know if it's just because it's like so dewy or like the temperature there. There's like barely any bugs. And if there are bugs, they're just tiny little baby spiders. Like there weren't really like ants was it like a big thing or like other things. I just remember killing one spider the whole time. But laying in the grass was just amazing. Laying in the grass on the summer solstice and like laying out until like 10 in the park was amazing. But London grass was lit.
I hate grass. It always gives me a rash.
Oh.
Every single time.
Well, if you're like my mom then. She's just allergic to it. She did the lawn today and she's like, okay, I'm gonna go take a shower and then, you know, rub myself in aloe.
It sucks. It really does.
I love grass. But I just love plants. That's probably what triggered this. I have like vitiligo, but like when I was little, I was just like playing around with plants, and then one day a rash triggered it, and it's like, hey, you have this code in your DNA that says if you get a rash, it's gonna flip this thing, and your skin color is gonna change. So that's cool.
Serious?
Yeah, that's how that works. If you know anyone who has vitiligo and they have like the white spots, it's probably triggered by like a rash that they had as like a child or something.
Huh.
Because it's in your DNA, but it's like a inactive thing until all of a sudden your DNA is like, what just happened? And it's like, we're under attack. And then it just like flips a switch, and then all of a sudden your skin changes color. And it's like, no more pigment. We don't need that anymore. Don't know why, but it does that. It's like, okay. But yeah, that happened when I was little because I was touching trees. Which is the most me thing that could possibly happen. Trees.
I used to camp a lot, so it's really good that I didn't ever get that. Wow. Yeah. Didn't ever have that in my DNA.
Yeah, well, you probably would have known, because it's fairly common, and if, like, anyone in your family had it, then, like, you would have known. I just remember some guy when I was, like, really little, and it was more prominent when I was little, because, like, again, I was much more tan back then, and so, like, the white spots on, like, my face used to show a lot more, and, like, on my neck and on my arms. But there was this guy when we were at a garage sale, and he had spots, too, and he was like, hey, if you, like, boil, like, lettuce and then drink the water, it'll start going away. And I was like, that's wild. But I was just a little kid who really liked salads, and then it started going away.
Huh.
It's one of those weird things where autoimmune diseases are freaky. Like, I've done so much research on them, and they're so, like, very little understood. And vitiligo is just, like, one of those even, like, weirder autoimmune diseases where it's, like, people have said that, like, some kind of, like, vegetable enzymes do good stuff for it, but then my doctors were like, hey, try this thing that might cause cancer. And I'm like, I'm good.
I think things that, you know, like, a very small portion of the world have. Wait, did I shape that sentence right? Yeah, like when people have when a small percentage of the world has a sort of like illness or disease or whatever it may be, you know, like it's cool to see how it plays out in a weird way, like because it's just like are more people gonna have it? Is it gonna stay like very limited amount of people, and like how is it going to be treated? Are people even going to look into it? You know, like it's one of those things that's just like, should we even worry about it? I mean, I'm not saying it as in a me perspective. I'm just saying it as a, like, science fuckers. You know, like
yeah, it's such a weird thing because I've been like dealing with it since I think I was in first grade when it like triggered, and because all of a sudden like my mom's putting my hair up in ponytails and she's like, yeah, the back of your neck is like white and you're getting like white hair. What the fuck is happening? So she starts taking me to the doctor, being like, what's happening to my child? So it's like I've had like my white hair. I have like a white streak that's like back here. I don't know if any of it's no.
You're like Rogue Oh my god, do
dude, it. You don't know how excited I am. I always tell my mom, I'm like, I hope my hair goes like silvery gray, like how my hair is back here instead of like, and like white instead of like just gray. Like, I really hope my hair goes like silvery whitey color instead. That would be wild. And I wouldn't dye it if like my hair starts like coming in like that. I'd be like, no, this is cool. But yeah, like being treated for it since like I was little, like at first like they tried to like, I don't know, stop it because they were like worried that since I was so little I'd be like made fun of or something. But like honestly, it's only, that's the only time that like it really affects people is like who's that supermodel who has it on like both sides? I'm trying to remember her name. But she has the symmetrical vitiligo, which there's like 3 different types where it's like it reflects on both sides. I have it where it's only on like one side. So it's only on the left side of my body, and then it's only on, like, certain spots. And then some people have it... I don't remember the other type, but I don't remember. But yeah, it's really weird, and they're all, like, different related things, and you can treat them different ways. But it just means that we're all, like, really susceptible to, like, other autoimmune diseases, like lupus and, like, thyroid disease, and... I'm trying to remember what other things are in there. But yeah, they're, like... It's not like a big issue, it's more of just an appearance thing, but these other things might happen to you. We don't know why they're all related, but they are. So just watch out for that.
Rip Ashley. Oh my god.
Yeah, it means I go to the doctor a lot, but that's just because I have a lot of other health problems. Are you an otherwise healthy person?
For physical, it's more of like, I've had to go like chiropractors and all that a lot just because I used to do a lot of jiu-jitsu and that really screwed my body up.
Ooh.
Like, wow, having boys mount me all the time. That's one more.
I was trying to allow.
Having guys, I have to get to this one. It just has to come out. All right, I'm trying to figure out how to word it. Okay,
there is no other way. You just have to move forward.
You know, choking other guys and like being around them and just having them, you know, be around me doing certain things. It's really fucked my body up. Damn, is this... Wait, I just realized I've said like the F word.
I mean,
a couple
so do
times.
I, like most of the podcasts, so it's fine.
Okay, demonetized.
I don't make any money from this channel anyways. It doesn't matter. I only make money from Twitch. This is the reality of my life.
I mean, like, just having that has really put a toll on my body. Like, a lot of my muscles are, like, they've been, like, sort of torn and, like, even, like, just, like, inflamed and, like bones are, like, very close to like just like they've been like legit bruised and like there have been fractures. It hasn't been a fun time, but I've never gotten a broken bone.
That's good though.
So that's really put a toll on my body, and like there's a lot of aches and stuff, but I'm good. Like waking up is fine, and if anything, I really appreciate it because my coach really did put me through hell, and like I know I can do a lot of physical work and like just work myself up to certain things, and I'll be like, oh yeah, it's whatever, because I've been through worse.
That was me with like my wisdom tooth surgery. They're like, they made me like put down like my pain scale like when I just like had surgery for that, and they're like, you didn't feel like any pain, and I'm like, because I felt a lot of pain forever. I was like, this is nothing. I'm fine.
Wait, when did you get them out?
A week before RTX. Yeah, that
wow.
was the funny thing.
All
Like
right.
we were talking like I think it was one of the times where we weren't sitting with you and we were talking about I was like, man, my mouth is, it was right after, I think the day after Let's Play Live, so Friday.
Okay.
I was like, man, last night I laughed so hard and like I was like yelling so much and I'm like, my face really hurts. I feel fucked up right now. But then, like, by the end of the con, I think I had recovered enough. I also recorded a podcast, like, right before Let's Play Live, I think. Like, that morning or something. So I was just like, I guess this is how to make my face feel better. Just put it through hell the next week.
Hey, you'll eventually get used to it, right?
Yeah, but no pain, no gain, I guess.
I've got a story for you actually about wisdom teeth.
Oh.
It's not like I didn't have a traditional one, like as in a story like that. It was more of like, you know, I got my bottom two wisdom teeth out, I guess, and my mom drove me home, and I was like, I'm really craving a bagel. And I live like right by Yum Yum Donuts.
You tried to eat a bagel right afterwards.
I did eat a bagel right afterwards. I went down, I got a cream cheese bagel with a bunch of cheese on it and shit. And I was like, oh, this smells good, you know? So like I just had it, and like I bit right into my lip because I couldn't move anything still. And I was like, oh, it tastes like blood. So then, like, I realized, like, what was happening, so I was like, oh, this is fine. So I got my lip, and I just, like, pulled it down while I was eating the entire time, and it took me about an hour to get through, like,
were you just, like drooling the whole time? I can only imagine.
No,
because I remember right after surgery, I threw up blood, and then I was just, like, drooling, like, the whole time, because my lip and, like, my chin, I can't remember if it was on this side or on this side, it was just, like, for, like, 3 days, so, like...
Oh, no. It wasn't drool. Like, if anything, I was probably swallowing everything, but yeah, I was pulling down my lip, and it took, like, I was also, like, helping myself chew, like, so I would, like, push my mouth, and then... Later after that, I was like, actually, I'm feeling some chips too. So I went down to 7-Eleven right after that, and I got some extra hot Cheetos. Came back home. It was a big bag too. I don't think my mom realized what I was doing. So back, and I had all those Cheetos, and I was like, man, that was a good time. And nothing happened. No infection. So fuck you, dentist, who said I couldn't have anything for a week.
See, like, you can do it after, like, 2 days, is, like, the thing. Like, you can return to, like, normal food. But I'm like, I just didn't want to because, like... Well, they also had to make, like, giant holes in my face because my teeth were in weird spots. My teeth were, like, facing, like, back and into my cheeks, so they literally had to, like, carve out some bone back there. And I was like, I don't really want to have any chips or anything because I'm horrified of how that would feel. But I can't believe that you were just like, you know what, I'm just gonna willpower through this. I had mashed potatoes and ice cream and macaroni for like 4 days because I was like, nope. Nope.
Nope.
Can't believe
I'm going right for bagels
that
and
hurts
Cheetos.
Me inside. The chips hurts me though. Like thinking about all the little Crispies in there. I had popcorn like a week and a half afterwards, and it still hurt. Like I had like the little what is it? This is another one of those things where like I don't know the English word for it. The little like seeds of popcorn.
Popcorn seeds?
Is that what you call them? I'm like, because normally you just say like the little cascaras are like stuck back there, like
the shells.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what cascara means, by the way.
Okay. See, this is another thing that I run into in my life because I'm like, this is just what my family has always called it, and I don't know what it translates to because I'm like, that's just what they are.
I live right next to the border. I got you.
I'm like, my family has literally, we were talking about this recently, and we're like, my family has lived in Texas for too many generations at this point, where it's like, we don't even know if, like, we have been here since it was Mexico, or if it's, like, it was, like, my great-grandma's parents who were, like, the ones who came here from Mexico. Like, we've been here too long. We don't even know.
You gotta go back.
We're not real Mexican anymore. We don't have any people back there. Everyone's in Texas.
Fuck.
So, yeah, my family has sat at a table before and contemplated what the word for purple is in Spanish for a good 30 minutes. Because we couldn't think of it.
Damn.
We were just like, what is it? We're all too Spanglish. Like, it's real bad. My grandpa's better than the rest of us, but that's because he was in Cuba, like, in the military, so he got, like, way better at his Spanish than the rest of us.
Alright.
So,
going on.
It's amazing.
What? I think, like, my room has a lot of interesting things. It definitely has had more, but it's just a matter of me breaking things.
Yeah.
I'm really bad at, like, keeping things intact. I used to have a katana in here. I used to have a like tomahawk, and then like
Were
different
you
knives.
throwing them at walls? Why do you no longer have them?
The katana broke after some wear and tear. I would practice with it a lot.
Casually broke.
Yeah, that's it really. The tomahawk, I really got nothing for that one. I don't know how that happened, but it did. It split in half at some point. Yeah. So those are the weapons. I also have like Darth Maul chilling over there with Kirby. A Naruto headband, base, couple, like, I have a shrine over there. It's wild. Alright, anyway.
What's the shrine of? I'm just curious now.
It's the things that I like. So there's a whole, like, there's 3 sections to it, and, like, a top. The top is, like, Halo, so it has, like, Master Chief in there and stuff, and, like, little Spartan. They're, like, doing it, like, and then, like, under that is, like, Fallout and Assassin's Creed stuff, as well as like my lightsaber, and then under that is like a whole Beatles thing. Like I have like magazines and like movies and like cassettes. Yeah, that's like, and under that is like comics. I really love comics. Like, but the thing is that I got into comics because of Marvel movies, but like at a certain point, like a year after, I was like, let's try other things. So I started looking into Image comics. I don't know if you read into it. I love them. Like, that's my favorite line. Fuck DC and Marvel. I mean, like, they're good, but, like, Image is way better. I don't know why people don't, like, look into them as much as they should. Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. I know of them. I'm just trying to remember what their series are. I lost track of, like, who the publishers for, like, half the things are when I took my graphic novel class, because we talked about way too many things and everything blurred. I have a couple comics. They're mostly for
The Walking
class.
Dead is...
Oh, do you like The Walking Dead?
I don't, but The Walking Dead is, like, one of their, like, signature, like, flagship ones,
yeah.
My favorite, like, graphic novel series is actually Saga. Saga
Dude.
Is amazing.
I think I have that over here. I know I have Why the Last Man.
I
have a lot of Brian K. Vaughan over here. I just checked them out from the library. No one summoned them back from me. I've had them for like 2 years. Still haven't finished reading them. I think I have like half the series. I'll read them one day. Maybe I'll take them on vacation next week.
Where are you going next week?
I'm going to South Padre, which is... South Padre Island. It's the south of Texas, literally like the tip of Texas. I'm going to the beach for 5 days.
And get away?
Yeah, I'm trying to leave the laptop at my mom's house and not do things. So I'm trying to take books.
Good luck. On the 4th day, you're going to be like, oh, I want to get home.
I literally start classes like 3 days after I get back, so... I'm hoping that I'm just gonna enjoy the time and peace. I'm gonna try.
Do everyone a favor and do that. Yeah. Gosh. No, I'm actually considering taking my next trip as well. I don't know where.
Where would you like to go that's within budget or within range? The only reason I'm going on vacation is because my mom's paying for it. My mom's like, let's take your grandparents somewhere. And I'm like, are we taking me? Please?
Funny story. Heading to RTX, I took what was the line called again? Frontier. Frontier did an amazing job at delaying my flight for 7 hours. Ooh. So... in order to compensate for that, they were like, hey, we're sorry, here's a refund, but now you have to fly with us. And I have to choose basically, like, within 3 months, like, where the flight would be, and it would be $150, like, the price of it. I can pay more, but, it's $150, so might as well just pay that now.
That's nice.
So I don't know where I want to go. I'm assuming I can only do like half of the U.S. As in, like, if I go further, it would be more.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm trying to think of a half that like would be. Do you want like a city place or do you want like a naturey place?
I want city, but I also want a lot of fun. I was thinking Seattle, but like I feel like that's too not fun.
It depends on what your kind of fun is. Seattle and Portland are like hipster lands. But if you enjoy hipster land, I'd go to Portland for more hipster fun times.
I think you understand what my fun is.
Parkour?
I like parkour. I like to live.
I'm like, even for the music scene though, I'm like, Portland I think is more music than Seattle is.
I think that Seattle did have a music scene. I don't know if it still does, but like I definitely want to check that out. I think it's more for me, like it just like I really like ratchet places. It's just a thing. Like I like it when a place knows what it is.
That's what you meant when you said you know what kind of places, and I'm like,
yeah.
I'm flashing back to the Discord now, or in the Twitch chat. I can't remember which it was in. I was like, what is the name of this place?
Kokobongo. It's a place you want to be to have fun. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
I completely forgot about that. Oh my god.
Best. I would consider going back to Austin. Because I really, like, my friend that I went with, he's 18, and get to, like, I could have gone to bars, but I feel like if I did, I would have just left him hanging and, like, been like, oh, no. So.
I like it so there'll just be a cut in between there and we'll be like, the void. We talked about nothing.
Yeah, but it's, what? There was never a cut. I don't know what you're talking about. I want to find some more people that live in Austin, but like from the community, because I would definitely go back if I could hang out with you two. That would be super. I just want to travel a lot. Like I think, like this year's where I got my first taste of that. I visited a friend in New York, and I was like, "Wow, this is cool." And then the Austin trip, and now I'm just like, I gotta have more. You know, you got any more of those plane tickets? You know, like.
Again, I'm just the only thing that's like saving me right now is the fact that like I have all of my loans. At the beginning of the year, because one of the grad schools I'm applying to is in San Francisco, and I'd never been to San Francisco before. My mom's like, I don't know how you feel about San Francisco. I feel like that's definitely a place that like you need to like visit before you like move there if you go. And so did my friend who lives in San Francisco. He was like, you definitely need to visit. So then I saw him when I was there, and I loved San Francisco. That college is the most expensive one on my list besides the NYU programs. But I'm going to NYU in January, also because my mom's paying for it, which is exciting. So I'm going to New York right after New Year's, which is fun.
I could get you like to talk to my friend, but then again, you'd probably be in a completely different department, because he did what was his thing? Biochemical engineering.
Ooh.
So, yeah, I don't think you'd probably be in the same, but I don't know. I could still ask him. But yeah.
So, you said he's in San Francisco then? Or is he?
No, he did, he went to NYU, and he's done now. Oh yeah, well, did I say that? That's why I went to New York.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Homeboy was graduating, so.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was another thing. When I was in San Francisco, I was talking to my friend, and my ex-boyfriend's sister goes to NYU right now. And we were talking about, and we were like, I know that me and him broke up, but I feel like me and her could still be fine. And I was like, do I message her and ask her about NYU? And he's like, I don't see why not. I haven't done it yet, but I was like, do I ask her? My ex-boyfriend's sister, like, how do you like NYU?
It really is a big school, though. Like,
yeah.
Huge.
And she's in business and, like, dance. So, like, and I'd be doing poetry. So, That's why I'm also like,
Have,
maybe I should go specific department, like find some random person on like Twitter and just like harass them.
have you been to New York yet?
Yeah, I've been to New York. It's been, like I said, I went to Newsies when I was 16. So when I was 16 was the last time I went, and the last time before that I think was in middle school. So I've been twice before, but it's been a while.
So actually, when you mentioned San Francisco, that kind of like did like the ding 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 in my head. Like,
oh, like that's where I should go.
I think I should go to San Francisco.
Dude.
See what all the hype is about.
Okay. I have like a mental list of like all the things you need to do. Just walk across the city first off, and like go to all the parks. Like
all of them.
Or at least like the, what is it? The ones that are on, you got the map, the left side. The lefty ones are real good. What is it? And then from there you can walk to what is it? China Beach and the other ones. You literally just walk across like the rest of the city, and you can walk straight to the beach, and it's just amazing. But what's the other thing that's in between there? Presidio? Presidio is nice too.
Presidio.
Yeah.
That's weird. There's a place here called Presidio Park, and it's like haunted, you know, and it's just like it's a weird place. There's a lot of haunted places in San Diego. Well, haunted, I should say.
I need to go back to San Diego. I went to San Diego for like
when
3 days. When I went to VidCon in 2013, that was the last time. That was also when I was in LA. I was looking at USC when I was still thinking about going to film school. Chickened out, didn't apply to film school. But I visited the college, and so after VidCon, me and my mom went to San Diego. So,
dang.
Yeah, so I've been there before. Really liked the beach. Went to the dog beaches. Watched the dogs.
Ah, yes.
I do the same thing in Austin. Go to the dog parks. Watch the dogs.
There's actually like a nude beach right next to the dog beach, I think.
Oh my god. Glad I didn't make a wrong turn. I'm only here for the doggos. I need not anything else.
I'm here for the doggos, not for the dongos.
Oh my god. I hate that, but that's great.
A lot of old men, apparently. But yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I like big cities just because you get that sort of thing. Like, there's a lot to do. And not saying that there's not a lot to do in small places. Like, I'm sure, like, as an outsider, I could find plenty. But it just feels more natural to be like, oh, look at all these places rather than, like, look at this small place, let's see what I can find. You know?
Yeah. That's why a lot of, because again, with, like, the grad schools that I'm looking at, they're all either in, like, huge cities or the middle of nowhere. So I'm like trying to find my balance between being in a city where there's like tons of places to go and lots of things to do, and then other places where sometimes in the dead of winter you're gonna be snowed in, or you're gonna be like going to nature-y things, or whatever small places are still open when it's like really cold, because it's like University of Iowa is one, and then University of Montana, which is in Missoula, and they're both kind of middle of nowhere. But maybe middle of nowhere will be nice for riding. Who knows? Actually,
funny enough, like when you were like saying all that, like for the isolated places, I was like, go to a place that nobody knows about, like Wyoming. Like in my head, anyway. Like that's yeah.
I forget Wyoming's a state 90% of the time. West Virginia, forget it's a state. The Dakotas, do they really
West
exist?
Virginia's a state, as in like it's separated.
I think so. I think there's Virginia and then West Virginia.
When did this happen? I didn't hear about this.
I don't know. I was watching a gameplay yesterday.
They didn't let me know.
There's this Irish guy called RT Games, and what is it? He messes up like a bunch of games, and he was playing like SimCity Skylines, and he named the place West Virginia, and then he was playing that song like West Virginia, like Mountain Mama, like that song, and as like he was destroying the city repeatedly, so there were like meteors that he made so that there would just be like this giant hole, and then he made a city and it kept flooding, and he played that song every time that like a disaster would happen, and it was kind of amazing. But just because that's why I was like, West Virginia, it's a place, I guess. Yeah.
I
What other
always think,
places?
oh, there's Arkansas, Abraham Lincoln. Oh wait. Hold on.
You mean Illinois?
No, what's the state that Abraham Lincoln made? It was like named after him or something like that. It's like on the north, on the like northwest. Hold on.
This is getting better by the moment.
Hold on. Washington?
I don't think Washington was named after Lincoln.
He was his friend. It's all good. 5th president. Wait, 16th and 1st. He was on the $5 bill though. Nice job, American education system.
I'm gonna have to fact check so many things in editing and be like, did Lincoln make Washington?
Oh, I fucked up so bad in a matter of like 2 minutes.
I gotta blame the fact that it's like late in the day.
Not for
give
me.
you a little slack.
I think this kind of proves to you that I am like sort of the Chris or the Gavin of anything.
Oh my god. You did say that you're like a young Chris Demarais.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the moment that you proved it. Naming states Abraham Lincoln.
Washington is the state. Yep.
And just having everyone else be like, what? What did you say?
Just get some fish, put some dressing on it.
I don't... What was that podcast about? Do you remember the one where, like, they had Chris, like, bet, and then they had a bunch of rulers that they were stacking against him? I don't remember what the premise of that podcast was, but I just remember they're trying to figure out how many feet they could fit through Chris, and I can't remember why.
I don't know how, but this reminds me... I'm... Like, I call it verbal shitposting. That's usually what comes out of my mouth. And, like, I remember in high school, it was, like, freshman year, and, like, I'm a thing, Like, I say stuff, and it's just like, oh, Edgar. And we're like, what, Edgar? Like, it's questions of my name. And, so the teacher was like, Edgar's talking, so I'm gonna do this. He's also smart-ass. He was, like, Edgar level smart-ass. Like, I'm at his level now, but he was better than me. So what he did was, like, we had the projector, the smart board. I don't know if this is, like, outdated at this point.
Smart boards were outdated when they came out. Those things barely ever worked.
Well, he basically what he did was he got a referral and put my name on it. He, like, hooked the projector up to the smart board, and, like, as, like, everyone was doing their classwork or whatever, he, like, put it up, and then I looked at it, and I was like, oh shit, that's my name. And then he was like, just keep it up. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And as I said that, he wrote the date, and I was like, oh, this motherfucker wants war. So, like, I tried my hardest not to say anything, but people said stuff, and I was like, wait, no. And then, sure enough, every time I said something, he would write a word.
And you were that person, so, like, every time someone would say something, you had to, like, add onto it.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean now.
I wasn't trying to be a class clown. It was just like, wait, like, it's just like, he encouraged class discussion, but I don't think he thought I was discussing. So, eventually, he got through the whole thing. He filled up every line, and I was sent back to the office. It's a moral story.
That's me when I drink, though. Like, I have to make every joke I possibly can. Like, I have no chill when I drink. I'm just like, I need to make all the jokes. I need to make every sarcastic comment, make every story. Those are fun times, though. 'Cause they're usually family events, like Christmas or graduation or...
Ow! How?
My family gets lit. I'm usually the least drunk, but like I gotta make the jokes still. That's what I do in my family.
I don't go to family events. I'm that guy. You know,
Dang.
I'm that cousin.
Well, we don't
But
go to
it's
like the
because,
extended
like-
family. We do like our like me, my mom, my Thea, my close cousins, my grandparents, and like we always hang out and get drunk with my cousin's friends. Yeah.
See, here's the thing. My mother, she has, well, are they still all alive? Oh, that's fucked up to say. There are 12 of them in total.
Oh, wow.
Women. Wait, no. 8 women, 4 men. 12 people, though.
That's a lot.
My grandma had 12 of them. And they all had their own children and stuff. Well, some of them didn't, but it's a big family. But they're all really old. Like, my mom is, like, one of the youngest, and she's 62.
Whoa.
And, like, one of the oldest is, like, 79, I think. It just, like, there's a huge, like, gap. And so, like, most of my cousins are, like, in their 30s or 40s even. And, like, I'm, like, the youngest. And that's by a long shot. So,
Dang.
I'm, like, I'm not gonna go. Because
I'm like, but
all
all
of you
people
are
in
gonna
their
ask me.
30s and 40s, my party. That's who I hang out with.
I mean, it's just not my crowd.
Like it's
I'm
my
not in it.
mom, my Thea's boyfriend, my mom and my Thea's like other cousin. They're all in their 40s, and I'm just chilling over there. Like, well, my other cousins are taking shots. Meanwhile, I'm talking with the adults because I'm an only child, so it's like I've always been the one who's like over here just like straggling with the old people. Like that's always what I do.
I think for me, it's more like, it also depends on the family. Like, my family is very, like, they like to, like, be old-fashioned and stuff, so they're very, like, they don't like to drink, and, like, they don't like to have fun, and heavens, if I make a joke, you know, like, it's just, it's not a good time. So I'm like, peace.
My grandpa's excited that me and my mom are bringing wine bags to the beach. Like, that's my family.
Oh, no.
And we're making my
No,
grandma
no.
virgin pina coladas, and then me and my mom and my grandpa are gonna get lit on the beach. It's gonna be amazing.
I wish that was a thing. I so wish that was a thing. Because I love pina coladas. They're my
Yes.
favorite drink.
Well, my grandma's diabetic, so we have to make her, like, the virgin ones because she can't have alcohol. But, like, you can make yourself some pina coladas. That's easy. They even have pina colada vodka. So you could get
No.
even more intense. What?
I can't do it. No.
Why?
I can cook. You know,
But you can't mix a drink?
No, like it's more of like if I can pay someone to do it, I want to do it. You know, like that's just my thing. Like, I can make the drink, but why not let like someone else make the drink? This is what I'm working for. I'm working for having pina coladas.
I'm gonna give you the easy drink then. Svedka vodka, any flavor. Squeezy Kool-Aid things, those ones with the little tops that you like pull off. Squeeze
too
that
much.
into a cup and it's 2 things. It's
too
so
much.
good. It's tropical punch and pina colada vodka. Amazing.
I don't do vodka though.
All I have is vodka. I like vodka. I like rum. I like tequila.
Hey!
Dude. But yeah, everyone always buys me vodka. I wish someone would buy me some tequila so I could make a margarita or something, but
I always do tequila and whiskey. That's it. I mean, like, I do rum too, but those are just like.
I was really drunk the last time I had whiskey, and I told my friend that it tasted like bananas. And I haven't had whiskey when I was sober, so I don't know if it actually tastes like bananas, but it tasted like.
How do you have?
It tasted like, you know, like the little like Runts candies, like those little like banana shaped ones. It tasted like candy banana. And I was like, this is really sweet, but I was also lit, so I don't know if that's actually how whiskey tastes. So
Paper bags taste like chocolate. I mean, yeah, they taste like chocolate. I'm not gonna lie.
maybe that's why my apartment smells like chocolate. I have a lot of paper bags. That
You should
make
smell them
sense.
and then just take a bite.
I don't think
That's
I'm
what
gonna do that. Just start eating paper.
Did you ever eat paper as a kid? Oh.
But I feel like
I never ate glue.
Okay. It could have been worse, I guess.
I feel like paper is like the weed of like eating things as a kid. Hold on. Just hold on for a second. You know how they say like weed is like the gateway drug? I feel like eating paper is that to a kid. Like it's like, oh, first you have paper. Next time you're just gonna have some glue. And like, you know, it's just like I feel like glue is like hard fucking heroin to a kid when they like start eating stuff. That's why I never went that far.
You know Sharpie marker smell though? Or like dry erase.
You don't even know how much I love that.
And my 6th grade science teacher, I won't say her name, but she was rad. One day, she was writing on the board, and there were people sitting in the back of the classroom who were like, I can smell the dry erase markers. They're like, you know, you can buy like low odor ones, right? And she's like, I need something to get me through the day, guys. And we're just like, oh my god. And that was like the best thing I've ever heard anybody say, because she always made sure not to buy the low odor ones. And even on like the last day of school, I bought her like the normal markers. I was like, just for you, little high. Oh my gosh. And then I went with if you come back to Austin, you have to go to Graffiti Park. But me and my cousins went there, and just like the smell of spray paint in the air is just like amazing. And we're all just there, just kind of standing for a moment. We're like all the vapors after people have like just sprayed, and we're just like, this is nice.
Okay, so speaking of smells and stuff, actually before that, just a little anecdote. On my lift back from RTX, like the convention center to the hotel, we got a ride with like 2 other older ladies who were there for vacation. They were drunk as fuck, but like they were like talking about how they went there just for the bats. I think they were trying to cover up the fact that they were partying a lot. You know, they were just like, oh yeah, we just came for the bats. You know, that's it, nothing else. And then they told us about the bats, but they can't even fucking put their phones up. Like they dropped it. Like each one tried to show it, and they both dropped it at some point, and they couldn't load it because their fucking fingers wouldn't hit the right app. It was great. But oh yeah, that's it. Like I didn't know about the bats. That's pretty cool. I want to see the bats like something.
You have to go to the bats, Graffiti Park, the dog park, and just have more food.
Agreed.
Those are the main things.
Yeah, I wanted to have like what's Terry Blacks? Is that
P. Terry's?
Terry's
is a hamburger place. Black's is, I think, a barbecue place.
Yeah, that's the one I wanted. Barbecue. Yeah. But yeah.
I haven't had that. Sounds good.
Also, taco. Velvet Taco. Apparently it just like sells like velvet.
Oh, that was really close to the convention center. I remember passing by that. You totally could have gone there.
It's okay.
Next time.
It's okay. Instead, I saw Sugar Pine, you know, just chilling, eating.
That was lit.
That's great. Fuck. Well, also I saw Bruce Green like way too many times.
Same. Like
out in 6th and everything too. It was weird, but yeah.
You was like, do we interact out in the real world or no?
I would see him and I would just like nod, sort of like I know who you are, but continue.
That was me and James Willems. Like every time I made eye contact with his very, very blue eyes, I was just like, okay. So, bye.
Fuck, dude. Oh wait, yeah. Smells. Alright. So
I feel like there's gonna be a really weird title for this podcast. They're usually pretty normal, but I feel like one of them's gonna be like smells, innuendos, and then like something else that's just gonna be in there. Smells, innuendos, and parkour.
This is your fault.
Is it though?
Just you know it's your fault just because you invited me on here. And thank you, by the way.
And the shitposting edition. That's gonna be like the name of this podcast.
Shitposting.
Episode 9, the shitposting edition.
Oh God. I so when I go to Tijuana, I hate myself for saying. I try to say it for people who aren't from here. Tijuana, Mexico. Like, oh my God, like, so smoking bars and everything is completely fine, and also getting someone blackout drunk is like the norm over there. So at the place I love to go to, Coco Bongo, it's filthy as fuck, and like there's just cigarette smoke all over the air and like alcohol. And the thing is that like the smell gets ingrained. As in, if I ever smell a cigarette outside, I'm like, oh, I want to go to Coco Bongo.
It's so just like in you.
Yeah, like if I'm just hanging out here in San Diego, just I smell something, I'm like, you know, it feels like a really good time to go see like some male strippers and go-go dancers. Like that sounds good right now. Like it's just a thing.
That's amazing.
And oh God.
That's me with cigarettes though, but like I think of London because like people smoke so much in London, like insane amounts of just like I remember blowing my nose like the first day like in the hotel bathroom and like it was black. Like that's just how much pollution and like smoke there is in London that like to this day there's like construction workers who like smoke like near my apartment and like I smell that and I'm just like, England.
When you were saying that, I kept on thinking, like, I checked my nose and, like, a pack of Camels came out. Gosh.
That's basically, though. It's pretty bad.
God. Like, LA looks terrible. Like,
dude, that ring of smog.
Fuck. I feel so bad for everyone who's breathing that in constantly. And especially because that's why it's so damn hot over there.
See, now they got that and they have all the fires everywhere in California that it's just like pollution and fire and there's a lot of chemical reactions happening up in the air. That's probably not good.
It really is true what they say about us though. Like there's a fire and we're like, oh. That's it. Like yeah, there's a fire like 50 miles from here. I'm like, oh, really? Damn. that's all that is.
When I was in 4th grade, there was out in Helotes, which was literally like probably 2 miles away from like my house in San Antonio. There was like this pile of mulch that they had like let grow too high that caught on fire, and it was burning for months. And so, like, my elementary school, we couldn't have, like, recess for the longest time because there was, like, an air warning for, like, all the kids who had, like, asthma and stuff. And it smelled like barbecue for months just because it was, like, burning mulch. And so, like, it was bad. But, like, they didn't put it out forever. It was probably at least 6 months, but I feel like it was closer to, like, 9 or something. And it was just, like, this pile of mulch. That was just, like, ridiculous. But we didn't care at that point. We were just, like, smells faintly of barbecue all the time. And I also smell faintly of barbecue all the time.
And after that, a Whataburger was placed right on the ashes.
I mean, close enough. Cows roam over there. Now it's just a field because they didn't let them put mulch back there again. So now cows roam.
That reminded me of my high school because it was placed on a hilltop and there's like nothing that grows over there. Like it's like just a bunch of weird trails and like shrub. I remember one year specifically, like, so do you know what the Santa Ana winds are?
Mm-hmm. I've seen the holiday.
Like it was. So it was happening, you know, like they were just like blowing and stuff. It was like, you know, like wind, and then like, you know, we would get ash and stuff. It was like, oh damn, this is cool, I guess. So like a bunch of little high schoolers, like me included, were like, oh shit, you know, time to go. Woo-hoo. And then as we were leaving, like I still don't know how this happened. So the air was dry as fuck, mind you. And it's like the air that makes you like feel your mocos, like your boogers inside your nose, and it's just like they're hard and they suck, you know. And like there's a front gate where everyone would lead leave to like get the bus and stuff, like to go home. And then there's another gate to the side, which is where like maintenance crews came in and stuff, like ways to the side, like on the other side of the campus sort of, but you could still see it from the front. And like as we were all leaving, we saw it. Like there were I'm not even kidding you. It was a wall of tumbleweeds. Like they were blocking the gate, and they were going like over it, like as like they would hit it and then just like roll and then tumble over the gate. And it was
an invasion happening.
It was it was like death by tumbleweed. I've never seen something like that, and I probably never will. And it was one of the best things in the world.
I'm imagining my high school, like that movie Rubber, like where the tire is just like going crazy. But I'm imagining that, but with like tumbleweeds, like trying to like kill people.
Oh my god! Yeah. Honestly, but with just a lot of them and tumbleweeds. That's it. You know. Oh god. And my high school was just something else. I mean, since we lived so close to the border, I mean, since it was made for people who would go from Mexico to America to go to school. So, but like, not all of us went, but a lot of us did. So, because it was so close to the border, people would go to Mexico, buy like a big pack of chips, and then sell it here for profit. And they would they would keep them in their duffel bags. And eventually the school caught on. And so it was like a drug bust. Like, it was that bad. Like, if the vice principal saw you with a duffel bag, it was like, you're either an athlete or you sell chips. Like, it was like, which one are you?
I got caught for selling chips, guys.
They would literally ask you, like, what's in there, and they would open it, and it's like, oh, chips, you motherfucker. Because, like, and they were, like, different salesmen, too. Like, you had your favorites. Like, also, you had to put in orders, because, like, if you caught them after first period, which we had block schedules, so it was like 2 hours of class. If you caught them like that after, so in, like in nutrition break, it'd be like, oh no, I'm out. Like they would sell out. It was crazy, and they would carry sodas too. But the best thing was like, some of them, oh those cheap asses, they would like get like chile and chamoy and stuff. If you don't know what that is, watching the podcast, then go look it up. It's like chili, like chamoy is like sweet chili, and then chile is like chili. But like they would have like those and put them in little bags and tie them up, and like that's like, okay, here you go. But if you sold that, you're a piece of shit, and I hate you. Anyway, you know, chips went for $1 and stuff. But God,
my mouth is watering just thinking about it though.
Okay, I got you even better. People ate those too, and then there were hot dogs. It got weird. All right.
They went like all out. Like this is the carnival. Like they're going for
legit. People would like run a business where they would like get a bunch of money, drive down to a taco shop, come back up by the time like lunch would almost be over. Here you go. It was a weird time at that school, especially like there was at one point I remember vividly like we were all packed into the gym, and then there was border patrol there, and they're like, hey guys, what's up? We're here for a presentation we're going to show you, so enjoy. It was a presentation on, hey, don't cross drugs illegally over the border. It's not worth it, don't do it. It was very insulting because we were the only school that got it.
Damn.
Yeah, and people did it. I mean, it's warranted that they did it, but still, like, why you gotta do that to us? Like why you gotta put us on blast? Like people drive up with, like, fucking, like, nice-ass cars, like a Mercedes and everything, like, you know, they're obviously doing some shit, but, I mean, it was just a weird school.
That's fascinating, though. My high school was, like, I guess the chill version of that. Like, everyone was just, like, stoners, and, like, but, like, no one cared. Like, our administration was literally just, like, indifferent to the fact that, like, everyone was always high and, like, had the munchies. Because we were so close to all of, like, the gas stations and the stores, like, near campus, that, like, people would literally just, like, go smoke in either the forest or the ditch before school, or they'd hotbox. get breakfast tacos or go to the gas station before, come to school with their bags of chips and sodas, and then just eat all day. And people would also just like sell weed like it was the easiest thing in the world, which it was, especially in like our high school. Like teachers, if they like saw you like smoking or like selling, they'd just be like, hey, just put that away before someone else who isn't cool sees you. Like, come on. Don't do that out here. The only people who ever got in trouble were ones who like, I was out in like the bus loop, like where we like wait, and there was a guy on the bleachers who literally just had like a blunt and was just like smoking there in front of one of the police officers, and they're like, you know, we have to like take you somewhere now, right? Like this, you're not supposed to do it just like this. You go over there or you go over there. Like, why would you do such a thing? But it's like our school just had like its ways of like doing it that like everyone knew, where it was like, you go here, you go here, you do these things. You never smoke on campus.
I remember there was a PE class that I had like junior year, and like it was with a lot of friends, but it was a wrestling class, and so first semester it was going cool and stuff, and then I say the Mexicans, but it was really all of us. Everyone started making like gay jokes and stuff, or like at some point, and like nobody took it seriously. So the coach was like, all right, you know what, and then took it off and made it like a sports class, and so everyone was like, so nobody would actually do anything. It was more of like, hey, if you had to play soccer, guess what? At some point, someone would grab the ball with their hands and throw it over the like football field goal, and everyone would be like, hey!
Oh my god!
It was like things like that, and we would like do like, it was basically like one lap would equal half a mile, like around. It would be like around the whole like, you know, like football and baseball field and everything, and like, so I remember like in the back, like, so say from your starting point on the halfway point of that lap, people would like stop, be like, all right, let's spark up, and like they would just smoke there, like right in front of everyone, like right in anyone's way. It was just a weird time. In my high school, I learned a lot, and it wasn't necessarily a lot of school things. It was just I had fun. I had a lot of fun.
I feel like because everyone in my high school was just like high 90% of the time, like everyone was just like so chill, like compared to like the other high schools that talked about like a lot of schools in my district had bad problems with like cliques and stuff and like bullying, and like everyone in my high school was just friends, but it's usually because it was like, hey, they all party together, everyone gets weed from the same people, you share your breakfast tacos, like it's what you do. And then the other high schools had like hard drug problems. So there was like another high school that had like a really bad like heroin problem, and another one that had a really bad coke problem, and like selling like all these like hard drugs, because they were the rich kid schools. Our school was like everyone was broke, and so it was like people only smoked weed at our high school, so you didn't have to worry about it. And so like everyone was much more chill. And then the other high schools were just like had bullying issues, all the rich kids, and they had all the hard drugs, and it was like, yeah, you do you over there. I think the way to go is for everyone to be like kind of middle lower class and to just smoke weed all the time. That is the solution to bullying.
My school never really had a fight.
Oh, our school had hella fights, but it was always like dumb fights. Like it was like girls who'd like pull out each other's weaves or like earrings. Oh my god, that was the worst fight I've ever seen. There were two girls. Our cafeteria was like, it had like the whole thing, and then like outside there were like two picnic tables where you could sit. But we were there, and like the cops would usually like stand like towards like the other side, like near the stairs. And so when the fight broke out, like people started standing up, and like the cops couldn't get like across the cafeteria like right away. But these two girls are pulling out each other's like weaves and extensions. You see just hair flying like through the windows, and their earrings are coming off, their fake nails broke. Like these two girls like got at each other. So it was always either the girls fighting over a boy, the boys fighting over a girl, or just like people being dumb in like the lunch line. So I remember one time this one guy literally, I think he just like accidentally elbowed a dude, and then they put each other in like a headlock and like rolled each other like over the lunch line, and it was wild. But they're just dumb. That was like 90% of the fights. We had a lot of fights though. My high school was like known for that. We had videos all over Facebook all the time of like today's fight.
Mine never really had a fight because our principal was very like against that. Like what he would do, like it was cool how he did it. Like basically there was never a fight. If anything, it was only the freshmen, and that was only like once or twice. That was it. Like the entire like he would basically do this thing where like every assembly he would like it was so demeaning. He would be like, "You're gonna be judged by your skin color and your area code, no matter where you go." And it was like, wow, thanks. But like, if anyone spoke out of turn, like if anyone was trying to be funny or whatever, he'd be like, "What was that?" And then he would like pull out a chair that he used to like sit in like first grade or whatever, like the dunce chair basically, and like be like, "Come here," and he'd like make them sit down in front of like the whole crowd, and he'd be like, "Oh, you know," and like it just like inspired a like sense of like, all right, let's just like not make this harder for him, I guess.
Dang.
And so nobody really fought ever, and like it got to the point where like when I left, like I still keep in contact with one of my old teachers. She told me that there was like this fight club where like people would go on Facebook and like literally bet on someone to like win, and it was like a fight of like, oh, like we're trying to like we're mad at each other. We're just like, let's just have a fight club.
Dude,
like,
okay, so our school did that too at one point, but it was literally just because some people would just want to fight, and so they'd be like, okay, we're gonna meet after this class near the portables by this, but they talk about it so much that like all the administration like already knew by then, so the teachers would be trying to figure out where the hell they were gonna be, and so by the time they started fighting, like the teachers would like run at them when they started, but people were already like recording and like getting ready for it. There were a lot of videos of, like, our fights. And we had no respect for our principal. That was also another problem. Our principal was a joke. We had, like, I don't know what Mr. Gear was. Mr. Gear, we had a whole thing called, like, Fear the Gear. He was, like, this 80-year-old man who was, like, the most intense, like, I try to remember which war he fought in, but he was, like, this, like, everyone loved him. He was, like, a great old man. Walked with, like, a limp. But, like, he was the one who broke all the fights. So, like, Gear would come bolting at people and, like, tackle them. And when, like, some guy, I think, threw a chair at Mr. Gear, and then after that he ended up retiring. Like, he, like, actually, like, finally decided to retire. But after Mr. Gear retired, and before that, we had another guy who was just, like, part of the administration, who was, like, one of our vice principals, I think, who everyone really respected, and, like, would try like not to fight because it like actually he was really good at like talking to people and like getting them to like actually like stop doing this. But after Gear left and after I think it was Mr. Halley left to go to another school that had like a bigger fight problem, like our school got out of hand because there was no one left in the administration that anyone respected. So it was crazy. Shout out to Gear though. Gear was the best.
There's this coach that his name is Coach Kanche, and like I don't know if like so being a Mexican school, like he was a hard ass like on us all. Like he like everyone would like talk shit and everything, but like the thing is that like a thing that would drive him fucking nuts. And if you wanted to run, basically, like if you were just running a lap and you said "Canche me, ya me canché," you know, like. He would be like, all right, 3 more miles for you. That's it. Like, you fuck with him like that, that's it. And he loved football. I mean, like, baseball, my bad. Like, he had his own baseball field there, and it was like his treasure. He would go over every day. He made sure that it had the right amount of water. He was like he was the baseball coach and everything. So for a senior prank one year, senior was like, hey, you know what would be fun? Just like overloading the place with water so it's all muddy for the next day's game or whatever. Biggest fucking mistake. He found out immediately who everyone was, and I don't know, it's not confirmed, but like I just heard that like he basically made them run like around the field, everyone who was involved, while he had his tractor going, just to like it was a tractor like lawnmower, there you go, to like chopping the grass, and he was like, all right, keep going, keep going. He wouldn't stop. And like if you like slowed down, it was just like, all right, better speed up, kid. And that was it. Like,
oh my god,
it was a weird school, especially once when like.
I feel like there should be a TV show about this high school.
It's a weird school.
This would be like an amazing like teenage sitcom.
There's ones where like he was saying like if you want fast food you gotta earn it. Like if my girls want fast food, then they have to run all the way down to Carl's Jr. to get something. And then one of the kids was just like, damn, they must be fine. And then he didn't know, but I guess there were like 5 or 6 at the time.
Oh god.
So that kid was running till sunset.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, it's a good time. Those are fond memories. If only. Being a musician is pretty tough.
True.
I mean, it's more of like, I mean, it goes into any trade, but like with me, it's more of like, I know I'm gonna do it. You know, like I know this is gonna end up somewhere, but just like when. It's all right. Is it today? Not today. Tomorrow. All right. I can always hope for the next day. You know, it's. I think the thing about any career though is just like not let it get to you.
Yeah. Like you really have to just like accept that the path will always be rocky no matter what. Like constantly.
Like you'll almost never have fun.
Yes. I've accepted that in my life. I'm like, I want to be a writer, and I'm like, that's not gonna go well. Or not gonna go well for a hella long time. Or it's gonna be like, oh, it's shit. Oh, it got good for a little bit. Oh, it's shit again. And it's gonna go like that for the rest of my life, probably.
Yeah, it's more of like, for me it's more like, oh wait, oh this is getting good. Oh wait, oh that was good. Oh. Alright, time to start over.
The is gonna be me after all my grad school applications come back and I got rejected. Time to find a real job.
Oh my gosh.
That's gonna be me, like, next March. That's gonna be fun.
Good luck.
Feel the hype.
So my dog has a cone around her head right now, right? So her dumbass got it stuck in between her mouth. Like she got her under part of her jaw under the cone, but not the rest of her head. So it was stuck. And my mom was like freaking out, and I was like, "It's not helping me for you to freak out. Please stop yelling."
Aww.
Yeah.
Is Doggo okay?
Yeah, she's fine. She's stupid. Oh my god. My dog is like. I thought she was calm, like now because she had a bunch of like drugs in her, you know, but she's just always crazy. Fucking dog. Anyway. Yeah. That was a weird interruption.
Shit posting a rescue and innuendos.
and innuendos. You know what? There haven't been that many. I'm glad.
It was only like 6.
Really? You counted?
I think it was the last count that I was at in my head.
Huh.
I was making mental notes for editing because after we said that there would be an innuendo counter, I was like, let's see how many there are. I hope people listen to this in public places and just start laughing.
Well, you heard it from me. No way, I can't say the neighborhood thing. I'm the idiot of the internet. Welcome.
The other thing. Do you want to plug anything?
Plug? Into what?
Like your Instagram.
Fuck me. That's the last one.
You're like, it's what? My phone's
Fuck
already
me.
charging.
Catch me on Instagram. Well, my music one, which I need to update more. It's the real Wumbo, as in Wumbology, like me Wumbo, he Wumbo, me she Wumbo. So yeah, the real Wumbo on SoundCloud and on Instagram. And yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Would you like to plug anything?
This is my podcast.
I know. That's why. You're being courteous. That's your turn.
There are links below. So many links. I'm Ms. Ashley Pie everywhere. Just
nice.
everywhere.
Well, it's nice to get inside. That's a half, not a full point. Not a full point.
If you
I almost did it.
You could have like canceled it.
I almost. Oh my god.
I think you need food.
No. Freddie Mercury had an album called, well, Queen did, Innuendo. Check it out. That's my plug too. Shout out to Freddie. This is episode 9 of the podcast. Thank you for listening. Fuck.
If you would like to be a future guest on the podcast, please fill out the survey in the description below.